very rapid opening start to the 2025 Eastern Pacific hurricane season continues now with Hurricane Flossie, a high-end Category 2 at this time on these average temperatures of hurricane wind scale. Maybe going to get a little bit stronger over that 12 to 24 hours. We'll have to wait and see on that. Just off the coast of Mexico, Hurricane Flossie, the sixth storm of the Eastern Pacific season so far. So right now, the storm has winds of 110 miles per hour, 135 kilometers per hour at 1 minute sustained winds. Once again, a high-end Category 2 on these average temperatures in hurricane wind scale. Pressure 966 millibars, it moving northwest at 7 miles per hour, just off the coastline of Mexico. So here's where the storm is located right now, just off the coastline, 17.7 degrees north, 106.7 degrees west, as of about an hour ago, as of the time of narration. That was the NHC's latest position, which is 185 miles from Manzanillo, 220 from Punta Vallarta, 280 from San Blas, 290 from Socorro Island, and 410 from the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula, Cabo San Lucas. These distances are going to be sort of around the same for the next little while as the storm moves out towards the northwest. Fairly small wind field has to be said though, 80 nautical miles at maximum on the northeastern side, 40 on the southwestern side at minimum. So it's a okay storm. Tropical storm watch, however, regarding those winds, has been canceled for all areas on the coastline of Mexico. A tropical storm warning remains in effect for a small part of the Mexican coastline from Puerto Santamo down to Playa Perula. My apologies if I got the pronunciations of those incorrect, as I am not familiar with my Spanish, unfortunately. I need to get better on that. I apologize, of course. So the primary hazards with Hurricane Flossie as it stands right now are going to be rip currents. You know, the same old with these are Pacific storms that kind of parallel offshore. Rip currents are going to be, of course, the primary hazard, mainly on the west-facing shorelines and the western shores of the Baja California Peninsula, even as Flossie is going to remain offshore, even as a remnant low. If you are planning on visiting any beaches areas, be prepared and know the signs of rip currents, and be up to date with your local beach statements regarding rip currents, as Hurricane Flossie's impacts in regard to rip currents can be deadly. They have killed multiple people, even from hurricanes thousands of miles away. So here's what we're seeing right now in terms of the forecast, 110 miles per hour right now. Will Flossie become a major hurricane? I think yes, briefly. Only 120 miles per hour peak at HCC 125, though it has had a little bit of a hiccup recently, and that is going to, I think, bring the intensity down just a tad. But still, a major hurricane does appear to be on the way. I'll be a little bit brief, and then by the weekend, it's all gone, and Flossie's tail will be coming to a close. And then our focus turned off towards the east once again for maybe the next storm. Maybe Gil is hot on the tails. We'll have to wait and see. So here's the forecast cone, remaining far offshore the coastline of Mexico. You can see that tropical storm warning outlined in that blue area just to the northeast of the storm center. I think that tropical storm warning is only a matter of time before that gets discontinued, probably this afternoon, given that what limited impacts Flossie was going to have on Mexico in terms of tropical storm force winds have come to a close, and the storm is now pushing up towards the northwest, away from any land areas. So here's what we're seeing right now in terms of the satellite estimates. You can see ADT is right on par with what we're seeing, although some other Dvorak estimates are sort of hovering around 105, 115 miles per hour. So that's why we kind of gone right in the middle, in agreement with National Hurricane Center at 110. SATCON and AMSU are a little bit low, but I assume that's probably due to raw frames, as there wasn't a little bit of an eye popping out you'll see here in just a minute that has since gone away. So here's what the GEFS model runs are saying in terms of the track forecast. They're sort of all over the place. General consensus on Flossie remaining offshore. Of course, you know, you're always going to have 1 to 2 ensemble members that are going to have the circulation coming onshore, you know. But the generalized consensus is going to be for the storm to remain offshore and weaken to a remnant low in about 3 to 4 days from now, and the circulation will dissipate as a whole past day 4. Far away from any land areas, and no impacts are going to be expected on any land areas going forward with Hurricane Flossie. Just a one for the fishies, I guess you could say here. But once Flossie is dead, our attention will turn off towards the east with another area of interest. With the National Hurricanes are currently giving a 40% chance of formation. Wouldn't surprise me if that goes up a little bit over the next 20 to 24 hours. And it wouldn't surprise me if we have probably the next named storm, Gil, here pretty soon in the Eastern Pacific. What a season so far, and no sign of this activity ending in sight, it seems. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but what a season so far. So here's what the sea temperatures are saying right now for Flossie. It's got some good waters underneath it, so it's got some time. It's got waters of around 28, 29 degrees Celsius underneath it right now, so it's got good conditions for now. There is a little bit of a dry air layer, although model soundings do indicate that this is going to mix itself out with time. So we're probably going to see Flossie start to intensify a little bit after its brief hiccup. You'll see the hiccup here on satellite imagery here in just a minute that I'm referring to. But we'll see the storm probably intensify here fairly very shortly. So you can see an observation here in Manzanillo, just in the northeast of the storm's circulation, clearly indicating that the storm is there. It's got a pressure of 1,009 millibars, probably in the outer bands of the storm. And it appears maybe an air temperature of 29 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's pretty hot. But only a 10-minute winds of 12 knots. That's probably due to a lot of these storms' influence probably remaining offshore now. So not really going to be seeing too much in terms of observations as per usual here in the Eastern Pacific. Ram diagnostic plots, a lot of the model runs, pretty much consensus on the storm going off towards the northwest. HWRF, that blue line there, that solid blue line, maybe going for a little bit of a southwestward jog before backtracking off towards the northwest. We'll have to wait and see on that. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think that the National Hurricane Service track forecast is preset in stone. Peak intensity, some of the model runs do suggest that it might not get up to major hurricane status. We'll have to wait and see, though. I think that there's a pretty good chance that it does, given that it's already at 110 miles per hour. It's got about 12 to 18 hours left of favorable conditions, so it would not surprise me if it takes advantage of what conditions it has and does intensify maybe a little bit more up to 120 miles per hour. Of course, NHC they get value up to 125. Maybe it might go a little bit further, up to 130. Only time will tell. Wind shear not going to be a problem for the next foreseeable future. I mean, towards past day 4, when the circulation is going to be dead at that point, that's when it starts to become a problem, but not a problem. What will be a problem, though, is decreasing relative humidity, and look at that drop-off of sea temperatures down in a single 12-hour period from 26 degrees Celsius down to 22. Wow, that is going to kill any chance of Flossie having any sort of convection with it as it pushes off here towards the northwest. So here's a look at the satellite imagery for Flossie. You can see it had a chance, or was attempting to do an eye earlier, but it has since gotten clouded on over, probably due to some dry air issues within the storm. Some model runs were showing on the sounding side of things that there was going to be this dry air problem for a little bit, but they do show Flossie eventually overcoming this and getting some more intensity in about 3-6 hours from now. So it would not surprise me to see a little bit of intensification resuming, probably in earnest, I should say, actually. The infrared imagery painting a very good picture, very healthy structure, though. Apart from this center core, it's doing the best it can with the conditions it has, and the fact that it's got up to 110 miles per hour, the initial forecast was only for it to get to 100 at its first advisory, so it's already beaten that. What a start to the Eastern Pacific season so far, and I'm sure that we'll be having a few more storms probably this month, now that we're into July. July is one of the most active months for the Eastern Pacific on record, historically speaking, tied with August, I imagine. So we'll have to wait and see what July has in store for us over the next few days and weeks. I'm sure that we have a lot of activity coming over to the Eastern Pacific about Flossie, and offshore threats to the coastline of Mexico, pushing off towards the northwest.